West from 12stringguitarist.com. I'm going to talk today about a couple of tips for the 12-string guitar, and hopefully you'll find those tips useful and helpful. The number one search on the internet under the topic of 12-string guitar is tuning, how to tune a 12-string guitar. And the simple answer to that is that 12-string guitar has 6 courses of strings, just like a 6-string guitar. You have an E, A, D, G, B, and an E string. And the top 4 strings, your low E, low A, low D, and the G, they are tuned in octaves. So you have the lower string, which is in a low octave, and the other one is tuned an octave above. Together you get a harpsichord-like sound that's pretty resonant. Oops, there we go. The last 2 strings, the B and the E, because of just the nature of unwound strings themselves, these are unwound steel strings, and they can only be tuned up so high before you're going to pop one. So they're tuned to a B and an E, and they're each a unison. So there's the pairs. They're tuned to the same note, and the E is the same way. Now, a lot of folks ask about tuning their 12-string down. Why do 12-string guitarists tend to do this? If you listen to the music of Leadbelly, Pete Seeger, Leo Kottke, Paul Jeremiah, some of the real great 12-string players that are well known in the world, they tend to tune their guitar down. What I mean by tuning their guitar down, they'll take their E string, and instead of tuning it to an E like a standard 6-string, they'll tune it to a lower pitch, so that way they can lower the string tension on the instrument and get a deeper, more bass-like sound. In my case, I tune my 12-string down to a C sharp instead of an E. That's 1 1/2 steps below the standard E. And what that does, there are multiple benefits that result from that. Now, the first one is that it reduces the string tension on the instrument itself. 12 strings tuned up to concert pitch exert about, it's like 220, 225 pounds of tension on the top, 24/7. When you're not playing, that tension's still there. Then what that does, and you'll find old 12 strings, they'll have bowed necks where the necks pull forward. You'll have where the top, where the neck block comes into the body, that will begin to collapse sometime from the pressure. And also you'll get the bridge will sometimes start to angle up and pull the top with it. You'll get bellying as a result. The top of the guitar, when you look at it, will have a slight rise in it. And that'll make the action too high, make it unplayable, affect the intonation, so the guitar will never play in tune, as if playing in tune is difficult enough anyway on a 12-string without having structural problems. The other benefit you get from tuning down is that with the reduced string tension, it makes the guitar easier to play. So if you want to play bar chords, it makes it easier to do. The other thing is that it lowers the sound so that it puts it almost into the bass guitar range. So if you want to have, instead of a real jangly like high part, say you want to do, you're just a soloist and you want to do instrumental pieces on your own, and you need to have a little more low end to balance out that shimmery top end. Well, you can do a lot of powerful things with that low end by tuning the guitar down. I'll give you an example. Here's a Leo Kottke style kind of riff, just something I mess around with. So you see there, you just get this really deep, low sound, which just rattles your chest and makes the 12-string a really commanding presence. The downside of down tuning is that it makes it difficult to play with other instruments without having to transpose the music. Some guitarists will use a capo. If you tune the guitar down so that the low E string is down to a D, then you can add a capo on at the 2nd fret, and then you can play with somebody else who's tuned in standard tuning, and that works fairly well. If you tune much lower than that, then you have to start transposing the music that you play, because you're going to end up being in a flat or a sharp key compared to somebody else. The other thing about the 12-string is tuning the octaves themselves. Because of the string tension on the 12-string, even when tuned in a lower than concert pitch, there are not only forward pressures on the neck, but also side-to-side pressures. And as you tune, especially with a new set of strings, you'll actually kind of pull the neck slightly to one side, slightly to the other. It's not even a visible amount, but it's enough that you can hear the difference from the tension on the strings. So when you're tuning your 12-string, you want to get a reference pitch from a piano or an electronic tuner. And like I said, I start with C sharp. Then I tune up so that all the notes are in relation to each other, just like you would on a regular 6-string. Typically, I'll start without the octaves, and I'll hit the lower octave on the 5th fret and tune the string underneath it. Then I'll go across and tune each of the strings just like I would on a regular 6-string guitar. Now I haven't touched the octaves yet. Once I have those in tune, then I go back and I look at the octaves. This does two things. First of all, by tuning up the octaves first, I stabilize the neck somewhat. If I start here tuning up these strings, it pulls to one side. Then I get over here and tune this side up, the bass side will be out of tune. So by going across 6 strings and doing the lower octaves first, I've kind of balanced out the neck just a little bit. I get less of that wobble in there. Now, the bottom strings, they're easy because they're tuned to unisons. From that point on, then do your octave strings. Get the octaves so that they'll sound just perfect when they're an octave above. If they're out, you'll hear it. You'll hear that vibration. Now, as you tune the 12-string, you'll probably go across at least twice in order to equalize the tensions and the pressures just right and get everything in a state of equilibrium. Then what you want to do is you want to check the octaves from string to string. For example, on the G on your 3rd fret, this is the same note as the high octave on the 3rd string. You're going to make sure that they're in tune. Likewise on the D string, which should be on the D note on the 2nd string, that should be the same note as the octave. Your A, which is on the 2nd fret on your 3rd string, should be match the octave on the A string. And likewise, the E on the 4th string, 2nd fret, should be the same as the octave on the top. Once you've done that, then you've made sure all your octaves all the way across the board are nice and in tune. So when you play a chord, now one of the things that you'll run into as you're playing 12-string is that your finger pressure will vary depending where you're playing on the neck, depending on the action of your guitar, the width of the guitar, the radius of the guitar neck. And so sometimes when you're playing, and this is something that just comes with time, as you're playing, you learn to exert a certain amount of pressure, and you can actually tune the string. You can change the pressure, a little bit of side-to-side pressure, and you can bend notes in tune that start to go out. The most problematic notes you run into, though, are the unison strings at the bottom, the B and the E. Because if those unison strings start to go out, there's no forgiveness there. It'll just really just hammer you throughout a song. And then what you have to do is try to avoid hitting those. If you have any questions, have any comments, I always like to get email from folks who visit the site. And the email address and everything's here on the link. So if you want to drop me a line, that's great. Hope you enjoy the other videos, the instrumentals I've got up there, and hope to hear from you soon. Take care.